All right, this is the Ask Me Anything live. Sometimes I get on lives and I have a topic. I have no topic. And then I people don't ask questions because I have a topic or they ask questions still. But this is Ask Me Anything. Ask me anything about your dog. I will answer to the best of my ability. Ask me anything about anything. Here we are. All right, guys. I've been on live in a while. My last live was I think about my aggression system. I'm actually going to post something here. Oh, Ryan, that's birdies. I watch my lives back sometimes and I realize that you can't tell when I'm reading the comments and when I'm just talking. So I'm going to try to do better about that. In the comments, birdies DIY. That's Ryan. He's a longtime listener. Terry Davis. I recognize a lot of these people. Lacey, a lot of folks. So what I'm going to put in the chat here is beckmanpro.com. If you want to sign up, let me pin this. If you want to sign up for anything, aggression program, become a trainer program, puppy program, or come to my facility or do a session with me on the phone, you can all find it right there. Okay. Trey has a question. Hi, Zen. Good to see you again. Trey has a question. I have a question about 6 months. 6-month-old puppy and how to get him to listen more. Okay, Trey, what's your question? Ask it. I'm ready. Joel, what measures to take when dog isn't food oriented? I know it's tough. I do try to switch foods with dogs and say, hey, do you like this? Do you like wet food? Do you like raw? Do you like kibble? And it fluctuates. They will eventually eat. I kind of say to a dog, like, this is good food. And I've done some testing and you seem to kind of like this one. You will eventually eat. Dogs will eventually eat. They will not starve to death. Now, it could be some medical thing, but that's almost never the case. They will eat. Now, maybe you mean treats. Treats. I just took it as food. So, a lot of questions already. Okay. Hopefully that helps you. I'm going to try to get to Trey's question. Trey, how can I get him to listen and not disobey commands? He already knows, like, leave it and his recall. Okay, Trey, how can I get him to listen and not disobey commands? You get him, your dog needs to be a year old, a year and a half old. By the time they're a year and a half old, you're not asking anything. You're not requesting anything. I know it sounds hardcore, but if you've trained the behavior, if they understand what to do and they heard the cue and it's a reasonable request and they don't do it, they will end up doing it. Whatever that behavior is. If you've trained to stop doing that, they will stop doing that. If you train a recall and they're not doing a recall, you will go get them. If you say sit and they say, I don't feel like it, you push their butt down. They will end up doing the behavior, but once they're a year and a half old. Excuse me. That's my philosophy on training. That should be everybody's philosophy on training. Are they machines? No, they're not. And you're not a moron. So don't ask a recall in a dog park if you don't think your dog has the capability to do a recall or if it's too stimulating. Don't ask it. What are you doing asking a behavior that they're not going to do? I get sometimes you ask just to see if it'll happen. And if it happens, you jackpot them. I get that. That's sometimes a thing. But don't ask a thing they're not capable of doing. Know your dog. But really, I don't request behaviors. They will happen. But I don't do it with a 6-month-old dog. Maybe I do sit if I've done 1,000 sits or 100 sits with a 6-month-old dog. I'm basically like, no, you're going to sit down. But man, their brain's not even right by the time until they're a year and a half old. But you train throughout that process. Okay, hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps. Trey, I don't know that it answered every question. Dog training questions are kind of nutty. Dude, there's so many questions in here because we're dealing with like living beings. These are, and all of you are different, and all your dogs are different, and all of your histories are different, and your mental capacity is different, and your physical ability is different, and your dog's mental capacity is different, and your dog has traumas and fears and a- and they're dogs. They're a whole different species. And so there's so much nuance to dog training. That's where I feel like I'm pretty good about going like, at this age, this happens. And with aggression, you've got this. Here's the system. I did a whole live on it. Go back and watch it. Here's the system. And for recall, there's 3 things to do. And for loose leash walking, their gentle leader is going to help you, or head harness is going to help you 50%. And then added the turning method, you're at 20%. And now you're only 30%. Like trying to make this as simple as possible for as many people as possible. I try. I do try, because there's nothing more complex than changing an organism's behavior. And that's what we're doing here. Like go change. I have clients sit across from me and they go, "Oh yeah, I want to do this with my 5-year-old dog." And they want to do one session. I mean, I want them to do one session, to be honest with you. I don't do multiple sessions with almost anybody. And I go, "Change your husband." And 100% of the people laugh. It is never not elicited a laugh. You know why? Because the lady knows, or the husband knows, they cannot change that other person. They have no ability, especially to fundamentally change another person. But yet, half the people in this chat, if you don't have a puppy, it's different with children, but adults, everyone in here, we're trying to change these adult organisms, of which we can do, but it's not easy to do. It is easier for me to do. It is, but it's not an easy thing to do by very nature. And no, the good dog trainers who do it because they're unbelievably good at it. That's why a certain small group of people on the internet make it look easy. But it's not easy. It's not easy for you. And I feel bad for people, to be honest with you. I feel bad. I've had professional athletes. I've had super intelligent people for 15 years going to their homes, these people. And these men and women, a lot of men, strong men, they can't do it. They have no ability to fix their dog. Almost none. It's a hard thing to do. All right, I said ask me anything, and boy are you guys. Okay. This is from A&M Fraser. I have a rescue pity, and she bolts out the front door. Any suggestions? I have a zillion suggestions. All right, what's the intermediate stage between on a leash? Well, first and off leash. That would be a long leash. But let's even go back from there. How about on a leash? Put her on a leash or a long leash and fling that door open and say, "Bolt, bro." You don't want to do a sit stay at the door. That's setting up something. You always have to have your end behavior in mind. What's the end behavior? Door left open, dog squeezing by you and flying out. So make your training session as much like that as you can, but have a recourse like a leash. So I'm a big long leash fan. You put a long leash on them, you fling that door open, you say, fly out the door. And they go, all right. And they kind of creep out, and then they get 5 feet and they get 15 feet away from you and they go, I'm free as a bird, but they're not. They're on 20-foot leash. Then you say, come, and they go, peace, bro. I'm out. I'm 15 feet away. And I can feel the leash, but it's pretty light. And then they hit the end of the leash. Now, the 20-foot leash is a bungee. And you got to let them give a little bit. Don't have them hit hard, because if they're flying, they hit hard. And then you say, come, and they go, oftentimes come, or they don't. You reel them in. Then you do it again. Then you do it again. Then you do the fake leash takeoff method, where you go with like this and you go click and you go, you're free. And the dog goes, I think he took the leash off. Bolt, come at 15 feet. They say no at 20 feet, hit the end of the leash. Then you take it off for real. And you jackpot them every time that they actually come. Even if you have to reel them in, you could jackpot them in the early stages of this. Okay, did I answer your question? I think I, for the most part, did. A&M Fraser. Hello, Duffel Fig. How do you keep a dog to sit and stay? Anne, sit and stay. You can go on a zillion YouTube channels to keep to train a dog to sit and stay. That's pretty basic stuff. Joel, you have met my Akita at Cahoots. Okay, this is from Dirty Mo. Did I take the dog's leash at that one cahoots? And he went up to Prince and I turned and gave him a little correction? Was that the one dirty Mo? I might not see your comment because I'm behind. That's maybe the only Akita that I met at those cahoots events, and I ended up taking her leash. I think I made a short out of that as well. What did you ask? You're having trouble with her right now. Yeah, she was a female, I think. Yeah, she's having trouble with her right back hip. Do you have a vet recommendation in North County? It's a good question. In North County, I took my dog to a vet in North County and it was fine. They were nice. Someone recommended them. They were fine. There's a good place in Encinitas. Oh man, I bought Prince there like 2 years ago. He had a foxtail under his eyelid or somewhere. Or I don't remember. This is the only vet clinic I've ever been to where there's no waiting room. They don't take the dog ever. You're sitting, you literally sit there and all the employees are just around. It was awesome, actually. It's in Encinitas. It's on Camino del Rio. Camino del Rio? Look it up. I like that place. I just don't remember it. That's North County. So I would go there. I think because I took Duke in for something simple, so I didn't go there. But I love that place. All right. Good to see you, Dirty Mo. What a name. How do you get your dog to stop peeing in the house when excited? Excitable peeing is a very difficult thing to do. I'm going to keep this quick. So the triggers for submissive, it's generally submissive peeing, and I hope that's what you're talking about because I'm going to give you submissive peeing. The 3 triggers are touch, talk, and look. Touch being the biggest trigger. So you walk in and you do not do those things, or your guests do not do those things. You walk outside, you continue to ignore them. You give then maybe if they're not peeing, some dogs literally don't pee unless they're given that trigger. They'll like hold it and then they're like going, the person's going to touch me soon. So I'm just going to hold it until then. It's like they need it. So you walk outside, you ignore them. Hopefully they go off and squat and you reinforce that. You could give them a little outside, hi, how are you, dog? And they squat. So they're not peeing under a roof. So they're getting reinforced for being outside. But it's those 3 triggers are the biggest. You simply cannot give them. And you don't get mad at them when they do it. Ever. It just makes it worse. I'm fine with correcting an adult dog or a adult puppy, especially for lifting its leg. But you can correct a dog for peeing in the house when it knows better. You can do that. Hey, take him outside, mark and punish a little bit. Take him outside. Submissive peeing is completely different. You never correct it. You don't give the triggers or the stimuli, and you go outside. Okay? All right. I'll get through these. Actually, I won't get through these. But what do you recommend? Alu? What do you recommend if my 1.5-year dog is friendly but tries to dominate puppies by putting himself on top of them but not biting? Complex question. It may not be able. Why do you have a crown with number 2 on it? What does that mean? I wonder. You're like I don't know what that means. There's a lot of people. This person has a crown. Musically, Sarah has a crown with number 1. Okay. Dominating puppies. I don't want to get too much into it because there can be a lot going on there and I can't get to the age of the dog. By the way, you guys, put the age of the dog in when you ask a question. It matters tremendously. You don't want to let them do that. So you mark and punish. By the way, punishment does not mean pain. Technically, punishment means if the behavior goes away, it was punishment. It's like a weird definition that is defined by the result, actually. Punishment doesn't mean mean. Operantly, punishment means did the behavior reduce? Then it was punishment. So you mark the behavior, and then you punish the dog. You grab them, sit them down, knock it off. But you also have to kind of be the boss in the mix, or why the hell would they care? Why would they listen to you? but it's a bit complex for today. Um, why does my pit bull come at me aggressively whenever someone makes a sound of being hurt? They could be other end of the house, even if it was to say ouch myself. He will come at me aggressively. Warlord, probably too complex to get into. I know I said ask me anything, but I could talk. I need more context. I do a phone call. I put the Beckman Pro where you can sign up for all this stuff. That's a phone call, man. That's too complex. That's a phone call. I think I'm booked out for a while, but maybe not. That's a phone call. That's a phone call. It's not Beckman aggression program worthy because it's very specific and it's one problem, but it's a phone call for sure. Why does my pup? Okay, the Fine Boys comedy. How do I train my dog to be Prince? Um, you go back, unfortunately, like 3 years, and you watch a video I posted called "How I Train My Dogs." If you want the short answer, you run the house, you exercise your dog, you train your dog. You're not requesting behaviors after the year and a half old. You play with your dog, you love your dog. Um, that would be, I guess, be the short answer. You know, training Prince or Duke or Bosco, it's not even like, it's not even training. It's living and it's conditioning and it's a way of thinking about dogs and what they're for, um, and what they need. It's a whole mental thing. They can't be your best friend in your world. That just comes through. You know how many dogs come to me, they're out of control because they're the owner's like little baby. Like that's got to get eliminated, number one. You got to also understand training. You know, you got to understand operant conditioning. You got to understand classical conditioning. You've got to, I mean, I can make your head spin with just terms you have to understand. You got to understand exercise. You got to understand purpose. Anyway, it's a lot. Okay. Ryan asked a question. What steps would you tell someone to take in a shelter scenario as far as testing a new dog that wasn't a puppy? Say a 2.5-year-old Roddy, not fond of men, shies away from kids. Spoiler, he didn't bite. All right. What steps would I tell someone to take in a shelter scenario as far as testing a new dog that wasn't a puppy? I don't know that I can give you like a test. I think shelters probably do pretty good job of testing dogs. They have their protocols and there's a lot on the line, so they tend to do that pretty well. I'll tell you a story though. I had someone in my Beckman coaching program. He works at a shelter. He asked me a question during a live, which I do on Tuesdays. He asked me, he said the dog doesn't like him or didn't like somebody, but liked everyone else. And so if you think, and he would like be in the back of the pen, I think, and not come out. And I said, well, that person needs to, he loves everyone else. So that person needs to associate himself with all those other people. So if I was there, I would basically, he doesn't like me. I'd walk in with 5 people the dog loved, and I'd simply be in the middle of those 5 people. Then I would slowly fade those people out. I've done this many times in dog training. I can tell you stories about this concept. And then, so he sees the person and he goes, I don't like that person, tail tucks. Then the other 4 people are there and he goes, but I love those freaking 4 people. And then he comes up, the 4 people draw him in. They don't even call him, maybe. And now he's forced to be near the person he doesn't like. And then, but there's 4 other he likes. So Pavlovian wise, there's happy emotions, but he's technically looking, or the guy he doesn't like is in the mix. Then you could say, okay, you go. And then you end up maybe with 2 people, person he likes, person he doesn't like, but he has been forced to be near the person he doesn't like. and learned that person won't hurt him or whatever. That's actually a very powerful thing. I've done it with dog and dog, or I won't tell you how I've done it because it's a long story, but it's a very powerful, very fundamental, very Pavlovian tool to use. All right, Ryan. Apparently it's true. Okay. Says she's over a year old and not fixed. Okay, you guys, people are just talking in here. Okay, scared. Someone sent me $5. Okay, I gotta. Thank you, Kevin. I got to get to the $5 question, not because I'm looking for everyone to give me $5, but this person put down $5. My dog gets into the trash. How do I stop that behavior? All right, $5. Here's your answer. This is from Kevin. Personally, with counter surfing or scarfing down their food or ingesting things, I always like to up dogs' food when they're just doing those things. I want to do the nice way all the time. I'm going to up the dog's food. I'm going to up the dog's food just for good measure. Then I am going to be a good person, and I'm going to try to not have the trash can away or something. Let's say you can't do that, or let's say you don't want to do that. I am then going to mark and punish. Do you say that when you're gone? How do I stop this behavior? I'm going to mark and punish the behavior every single time the dog crosses a certain line. I don't think it's walking by the trash. I don't think it's looking at the trash. It could be anytime they leave their feet, even if they're going up to smell, anytime they touch the trash can. I'm going to sit like this and I'm going to watch and I'm going to do nothing. And then that dog is going to touch that trash can and everything is going to change. I'm going to go, hey, and I'm going to go wham, and I'm going to get up and that dog's going to go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm not accepting I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. The clap and the get up is not a real consequence. It's not a real punishment. It's verging on it, but it's not a punishment, really. Some dogs it is, but I'm sure you've tried some of this and it hasn't worked, so we need to up it. Then I'm going to go grab the dog and I'm going to grab the collar by the side and I'm going to go sit. And the dog's go, okay, buddy. Holy mackerel, what's the big deal? And then I'm going to go, okay. And I literally say it out loud. Go do it again. Go get in the trash again. And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to wait. And I'm going to do it over and over again until that behavior has been reduced. When you're gone, this is a different story, okay? Behaviors when you're gone are nothing like behaviors when they're there. They're much more complicated. All right, digging in the backyard when you're gone, all of it, much more complicated. But that's where I would start. And you can actually, there can be a Pavlovian response to the garbage can. That will continue when you're gone. They'll be like, bad things happen when I touch that garbage can. He's not here, but a feeling of bad things happen when I touch that garbage can. I'm not saying that'll happen, but it can happen. Makes sense? I hope that helps, Kevin. Someone else had a $5 question. HVAC R. Any tips for starting a dog business, training, grooming, boarding, etc.? Also, have you worked with any Alaskan Klee-Kleis? I say Klee-Kleis. I don't think that's the right pronunciation. Yes, I worked with many have come out, but many years ago I worked with two. They came for the board and train. They were mentally ill, but I've seen them walking around. I'm like, these are cool little dogs. They're just mini huskies. They're kind of a crazy dog. They don't act like husky, but they look like husky. These two I trained, they were insane. They were some of the craziest dogs I've ever met. Starting a dog business, Beckman coaching program is the best way to start a dog training business. Grooming, boarding, etc. By the way, I was thinking about these yesterday driving around and I saw, what did I see? I think I saw that bumper sticker that says, say hi to your dog for me, which is kind of a cute bumper sticker. And you'll see ads for cars. There's just dogs in it. You'll see billboards I saw a billboard for an HVAC. Funny, this guy's an HVAC guy. And it had a dog on it. And it was like the dog business isn't going away. If you think, something's declining in society, dog training ain't declining in society. I guarantee you that. People are more in love with their dogs. They're getting dogs. They're spending more money on dogs than any time in human history, and it ain't changing. So the dog business is a great business to get into. training, grooming, boarding. Yes, I do those things. I have a facility. I have for many, many years. You got to bite the bullet if you want to board, and you got to buy a place. Yeah, I don't. It's a lot of money. I don't know what to tell you. Um, if you can't get the money, or start it in your house, people do that all the time. Uh, it's like any other business. I mean, you got to market. You got to keep your clients that you have. You got to charge. Oh, someone gave me $100. You got to charge the right price, and people in the dog training industry are notorious for especially boarding, for not charging enough. Someone explained it to me, my business partner actually. He goes, "You freaking house their dogs." This is when our prices were lower. You house their dogs, you follow them around and pick up their poop, you train them, you exercise them, you let them swim in the pool, and he's like, "You're charging this much a day." He's like, "You gotta charge more." And the picking up the poop part was like kind of what got me in a way. It's like it's a lot to do for a dog. They don't have to pay it. Don't pay it. They think you're too high, you're too high. Um, I one review. Most of the bad reviews on Yelp are people who've never. All of them are people who've never seen me. They don't like my videos, so they go on Yelp like a bunch of losers, and they're like, and they sometimes they just go, "I don't like his videos," or "I don't like his training style," and I look them up and I go, "Yeah, you've never been to me." But one of them had come to me, and she had an unbelievably aggressive dog, and I was like, "Lady, like, I have 3 kids." I didn't say lady. I have 3 kids. Like, I'm gonna literally have to just be with your dog. I can't even let my trainers with your dog. Like, this is gonna change my whole life. And I go, "Here's what I have to charge you for a complete change in my life for 2 weeks," which I would charge her twice as much now. I have children to worry about. And I gave her the price. She didn't want to do it, or I don't know, maybe I didn't want to do it, but I know I gave her a price. She goes home, she writes a Yelp review being like, "He charged me so much. He quoted me so much." And I was like, "Dude, your dog is a danger to society. You're lucky I just gave her a price because I wanted to try to help her, you know?" So anyway, um charge money, enough money. I gotta find this 99. Oh, they just gave me money. Didn't even ask a question. AA. That was nice. $100. That's crazy. That's not crazy. That's nice. Ben Sherman gave me $2. Very nice of you. And Ben said, help with my 13-month-old intact Rottweiler. He was calm up until about 3 weeks ago. A switch was flipped, and I don't know what to do. Okay, somewhat quickly, because I want to get to just other people as well. I don't want to skimp you guys, but 13-month-old, a switch was I would up the exercise. Why not? Our goal is not to exhaust our dogs. Trust me. If you're having to exhaust your dog, send them to doggy daycare for 8 hours a day, you're doing it wrong. Up the exercise. You use the word a switch was flipped and I don't know what to do. Okay, I don't totally know what that means, Ben. A switch was flipped. I'm going to give you guys an acronym. Helpers. We use it at C-Word. HELPRS. No E. Husbandry. Kind of forget that. Okay, husbandry. Exercise. Helpers is a good, well-rounded thing we would do with the killer whales. Like, if you're not doing all this stuff every day, you're a little bit off with your relationship. Exercise is the E. L is the learning. That would be training. HEL. P is play. R is relationship. S is shows. Okay, but so forget shows. Are you playing? Are you spending quality time with your dog? With Duke, I just sit on the ground with I stroke his head. I'm busy. Maybe I'll exercise him and I'll train him, but I won't sit with him. Maybe I'll sit with him and I'll train him, but I won't exercise him. Right? There's always something generally missing. Don't miss something. Each day, try to get those helpers, which I guess we're only using 3 of those, 4 of those. Does that make sense? So make sure your well-rounded relationship is good. Up the exercise, up the training. You know, you got a Rottweiler and you left them intact. Not to say that neither of those things are bad, but it's time to step up, train your dog, exercise your dog, vary up the exercise. Walks are not great exercise, but they're good for a lot of things. And sprinting is not great for some things, but it's good for just muscle energy out of their muscles. Vary the exercise. Give him a purpose in life. Have him carry his own water on a walk and tell him it's his job. Train some protection if you want, right? Give him a job. Give him purpose in life. All right. Okay. Victor says, how long is the Beckman coaching program? It's a year. It's a year long. It's lives every week. It's a bunch of videos. It's good. I pinned the Beckman Pro in there. Okay. Sorry. Huge hugs. I think A accidentally hit 9 twice. Okay. Let's see what they're talking about. I'm very happily pay our groomer quite a bit, but they are great. They're expensive compared to others, but worth it. Okay, so Kat is talking to somebody about the grooming. Okay, people are talking about grooming. Oh, I like this kind of talk. Ryan, who's Birdie's DIY, said, so to fat kids don't run, who is a longtime commenter, differential reinforcement. Oh, I want to see what you guys are talking about. Differential reinforcement. It's a terrible like way to talk about differential reinforcement of incompatible behavior and differential reinforcement of DRO of other behavior. They essentially mean reinforce the animal for anything other than the behavior you want to get rid of, or anything incompatible with the behavior you want to get rid of. It is fine. It is good. It doesn't get rid of a behavior, though. It just doesn't. It reinforces other behaviors around the behavior. The force-free folks love this. Love that. It doesn't work. The problem. I've done it. We created at SeaWorld. Literally, they created the word DRO, DRI. My place I worked created that. And now the force-free trainers use it. They don't understand it doesn't work. Didn't work at SeaWorld either, really. You want to know how SeaWorld, when a whale gets aggressive or does something bad, you know how to deal with it? They don't. They don't. Yet the force-free folks take their cues, even though they want to now act like SeaWorld's bad. That's where all their training comes from. SeaWorld marine mammals. Marine mammal trainers, killer whale trainers, who are awesome trainers, they don't know how to deal with aggression. No idea. They pull back. They only put certain people on the whale. They wait a year. Now they don't even get in because of aggression. Didn't fix it. They didn't fix telecom. They didn't know how to do it. No offense to any of my former trainers who are watching this, but hate to tell you. My former SeaWorld trainers, I mean. This may sound silly, but how can I get my dog to sprint? That kind of does sound silly. Why wouldn't your dog sprint? That's like weird. Unless they're old or they're, I don't know. You run. You give them something to run for. I want to know. Okay. Why are some dogs fine with thunder but go nuts when they hear fireworks? It is different. There's a popped. I don't know. I kind of assumed all dogs were bad with fireworks that were fine with thunder. I mean, it's a different sound. And so very few dogs are fine with. How do you give? Look at this, $27.90. You can give like the most random amount of money ever. I've literally never had somebody give that random amount. Victor gave me $27.90. How long into the coaching program would I have the knowledge needed to begin working professionally? Do we get a certification? You do get a certification. Someone gave me $1,000. Are you kidding me? Lou, you're getting your question. $1,000. I'm rich. like in a Dave Chappelle voice. Okay. How long into the coaching program would I have the knowledge? It depends, Victor. Like, it's hard to say, bro. You got to get your hands on dogs right now, or the minute you get in the coaching program, you got to get your hands on dogs. Okay. Your own dogs. You're going to start training your own dogs, and you're going to start watching these videos and get on lives, and you're going to get a website going. We talk about that. Squarespace now has pretty easy websites, and you're going to get a social media. You're going to start doing social media, and you're gonna get going. And I don't know how long until you begin working professionally. Your market matters. Are you in, San Diego's a big market with money? Are you in rural uh Kansas, a small market? It depends. It depends. That's a tough question. I can't believe someone gave me $1,000. Thank you. Okay, thank you. She asks, I'm from Argentina and I love your videos. We have a year and a half male puppy, no specific breed. He loves people and other dogs and listens to me. But when he's misbehaving, he'll only listen to my boyfriend. Do you believe male dogs are more obedient to men than women? Okay, let me slow this down. We have a year and a half male puppy. Let's stop calling him a puppy. It can kind of make you think differently. I think at a year and a half old, he's an adult. Let's start thinking of him like an adult, which means he can listen. His brain is fully formed. Uh, when we train something, we expect him to do it. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Puppy. No specific breed. He loves people and other dogs and listens to me, but when he's misbehaving, he'll only. So here's the thing with men and dogs. And by the way, male dog or female dog, I don't think it matters, but men and women matter. And here's why. It's two things, in my opinion, three things really. It's the deeper voice, it's the bigger shoulders, and third is the height. I don't think the height matters that much. There's something about the voice that's giant. Deeper voices matter. Like, you don't believe me? Like, look at kids, look at other people. Like, a voice, that deep voice matters. And then there's something about the bigger shoulders. So it could be a female who's big and has big shoulders, and it would be the same. I don't think it's a male female thing. I think it's a voice bigness thing. Um, it could be a strength thing if you're dealing with an actual strong dog. It actually often is a strength thing if you're dealing with a strong dog. So I've got Newfoundlands and Saint Bernards on a leash before, right? And they pull like insanity. And why wouldn't they? People don't stop them, or they don't stop them efficiently or quickly. And then they'll go, and then I'll give like they'll hit a wall. Like, I'll go like bink, and they'll hit a wall, and they literally go like this, and they look at me, and you can see them look at me for like 2 seconds and be like, oh, that was different. That's a sort of a technique thing, but it's also a strength thing. Like, they went, oh, you're stronger than me. I'm not actually stronger than them, but there's a technique part. There's a leverage part. And they go, oh, this is different. So that matters too. So act like your boyfriend. Okay. Try to change that voice a little bit. Have it be a little bit deeper. Oh, and someone commented back to you. That's good. Um, does that make sense? And by the way, thank you. Thank you. I don't want anybody to be who doesn't have a lot of money to be giving me money. If you have a lot of money, that's a different story. But thank you. That is a tremendous gift, and I really do appreciate it. And that's nice. I hope I answered your question. I really do. Male dogs are more obedient to men than women. I don't believe it's a male dog, female dog thing. I think dogs are generally more obedient to men than women. Now, if they're scared of men, that shoulder thing, that voice thing, that hurts. The I went to somebody's house once, and their nervous dog, and then the husband came down the stairs, and she's like, I don't know why he's nervous of my husband. The husband comes out there stairs, he's like, boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, that's why he's nervous of your husband. Your husband walks like a giant in the house. It's terrifying. That's one of the reasons. So men have to be careful of that. Okay. All right. In pesos. In pesos, not dollars. That's an interesting point. actually. I still say thank you. I didn't realize it's 1,000 pesos. If it is 1,000 pesos, okay. Oh my gosh, dude, I don't know what I'm talking about with pesos and dollars. You can fool me real quick with this stuff, but it's still thank you. Has anyone in Australia? Yeah, she's no longer in the program. She was a vet tech. Hey Joel, Joe asks, has anyone in Australia taken your coaching program to become a professional trainer, and have they turned into a business here, helping clients? She was a vet tech. I think she left because we disagreed once on like vaccinations, and she was great. I like her. She was great. It was awesome, but you know that stuff happens. Like I'm not gonna change my opinions on things because someone's paying me money. Joel's going to be upset when he realizes the currency exchange. Dude, you're so right. I'm not upset, but why should I learn at the beginning to become? What should I learn to begin to become a dog trainer? Bikes and birdies. Dude, there's so much to learn to become a dog trainer. Like, get your hands on dogs would be the first thing. Okay, guys, I get it. I get it that that's pesos, not dollars. Any idea for my rescue Dutch Shepherd, a year and a half old? We wipe her paws every time she comes inside. When it rains, we towel her off as well. But when it's raining, she growls and bares teeth. This is a classic positive reinforcement. Pair it up with treats. Don't ever, for the next long while, don't. Just sit there and feed her every time you're touching her paws. Build up a classical conditioned response. You want her to come in and go, hey, bro, here's my paw. I'll take that chicken now. Then you fade out the chicken. The feelings remain. Dog training is about classical conditioning. It's somewhat about operant conditioning. It's almost all classical conditioning. It's almost all automatic responses based. That's what I do. I live in the classical conditioning world of dog training. We're changing sits and downs is operant conditioning. Stays is operant. Everything else is classical. All the hard stuff's classical. Counter conditioning, I often say counter conditioning, or excuse me, classical, which encompasses counter conditioning. Counter conditioning might be the more appropriate word for it, but classical encompasses all of it. Pavlov was a genius. Skinner, who came up with operant conditioning, not so much a genius in any way. That guy had major flaws. But Pavlov, that guy nailed it. How to try this dog? Marcelo asks, how to stop dog from trying to eat everything in the ground? Rock seeds, bro. That sucks. Rocks. If it's not a puppy, you're gonna operantly punish the behavior. I would increase their food. I always do with whatever that's called when animals and people eat weird stuff. It's called something. Did you say poop? No, not poop. That's good. I increase the diet all the time. And then I'm going to correct the behavior. It's hard when their head's on the ground. Got to get their head off the ground too. Oh, well, if they're on a leash, you got to get their head off the ground. If they're not on a leash and they do it in your backyard, you still punish it. I'd start with increasing their diet. You can always bring their diet down. People go, I don't want my dog to get fat. Okay, worry about that later. It's like someone goes to the gym and goes, I don't want to get too big. Oh, yeah, well, I think you'll be fine, bro. Like just do this and then increase their food. If they start to get overweight and what if they're overweight but the problem goes away? Maybe you take the overweightness or reduce them down. Okay? And you need a period of time when they don't. Animals will do something and then they stop doing it and they forget they do it. So even they get skinny again, they go, I forgot I used to eat rocks, which is also weird, by the way. Okay. A guy named Joel gave me $5. Thanks, Joel. Skinner's shit was, I'm not supposed to say that word. Ryan said this. Skinner's S was in a sanitated environment, which is not real life. Okay, well that's the biggest thing. The Skinner box, it's a freaking box. Your dog's out in the world at a dog park or walking down the street, and the forestry folks are like, "Do this." All the tests were done with one rat in a box hitting levers. That's what you're basing your much of your training on, dude. Your dog ain't in a box. Your home's kind of a box in a way. The stuff in your home should be easy to you. In your home's easy. That's the 3 Ds: training behavior, then add distance, distraction, duration to it. That's easy. Okay. Okay, Joel, then ask the question. I'll try to see it. All right. How do you get your two unfixed dogs to get along and not fight? Boy, am I in that right now. Duke and Prince are best friends. It's awesome. I think I'm responsible for that. They've had their moments. They've gotten in fights. Hasn't happened in a while. His puppy brain, Duke's puppy brain, and it's not like Prince wins right away, and they don't hurt each other. It's all dominant stuff. I stop it. Next time, I'm not going to stop it because when I go, they start to get into it. They've gotten, I think, 3 of them. Next time I go, hey, I go, whoa, and I clap my hands. It's Duke doesn't stop. Prince, I think, measures himself, and then Duke ends up kind of like it being a draw when I think Prince would win. So I'm not going to stop it next time. How do you do it? Dude, your house is not a democracy. Like you train them to do things like go to their bed and come to you when called and all that, and you're not asking ever. You have 2 intact dogs. Like you don't have the luxury of it being wild. It can't be wild in your house. Like you also have to exercise them. Cesar Millan was right when he talked about exercise many years. It helps everything. Everything. You have to do it, and people don't do it enough. And you shouldn't exhaust your dog. But so hopefully that helps a little bit. Petio? Petio? I don't know what's your name. What's Pika? Oh yeah, Pika. Pika is eating random stuff. Thank you. The 4 quadrants work. Armand Hammer. The 4 quadrants work. The 4 quadrants of operant conditioning work in a box. It's more reinforcing to bark in a dog training class at another dog than to get a treat. Now you got me. Now this is where I have fun. Arm and Hammer. The 4 quadrants work in a box. We just talked about that. They don't work when the stimulus or trigger is more inherently reinforcing than the thing we offer. Make sense? Punishment doesn't work when the thing is when it's more reinforcing to bark, lunge, or attack another dog or to bite somebody. It's often more reinforcing than the punishment we give or the reinforcement we give for not doing it. Okay? Why shouldn't you exhaust your dog? AG says. 1, you create a dog that needs to be exhausted. I was the corporate trainer for a large doggy daycare, and I can tell you this history. I was there before they opened. We had a relationship. Then they franchised, and I became the trainer for all these places all over the country. They'd send me their people to train them, and I'd go teach classes at some of the local locations. And those dogs get exhausted every day in the yard. Then when they don't go to the yard, they'll be tired the next day. But if they don't go for a couple of days, the 3rd day, they're like, no. I go all day. That's what I do. I can only be calm when I'm tired. You have to, it's like with kids. I know parents who just their kids just go all day, all day, all day, and they're creating an adult who needs to go all day, all day, all day. It's not rocket science. You don't want that. You want real exercise. You want very varied exercise. You want to take the edge off, maybe, and give them a little more, okay? More than just take the edge off. And that's where you want to end it. I mean, you want to you just you it's it's in a way exercise is in a way like isn't like kids totally. Exercise is sort of with dogs, it's a much bigger deal actually. They'll have way more problems without exercise than kids will without exercise. Obviously, kids need exercise. Okay. All right. We're holding steady with about the same numbers. I was going to do 30 minutes and we're going to do an hour, but I'm going to be done in 1 hour in 10 minutes. Thank you for doing all you do. Thank you, Miss Trin. Yeah, blue sky, they get habituated. Okay. Kayla, would you like to chase something you can't catch? Okay. People and dogs need corrections and exercise in life. We are very similar to those. Yep. I'm live. I'm live with the questions here. Okay. Well, like I knew at the time, I stopped right away. My 4-month-old corgi puppy stopped nipping us, but will nip strangers when playing. Sierra to C. 4-month-old dog at this age, I would do a lot of redirection. I'd occupy that mouth a lot when people are over. The occupation of a dog's mouth for very oral dogs, nipping is a little different, but I had a client last week with me in my office. Their dog was so mouthy. I should actually make a video out of it. Their dog was so mouthy. But its whole brain was just everything was just blah, 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 blah. You couldn't go near its hand. And it wasn't even a puppy, and it was just all over the place. And I'm like, you have to occupy this dog's mouth constantly. Ball, rope, or like a bully stick, or it actually was young, or a marrowbone. We had no shot without occupying its mouth. You can't operantly like punish that behavior or reinforce that other behavior, and you can't like exercise it out of them. It was a mouth occupation thing, and that is big for some dogs. Okay. We got a few more minutes. I'll give you an update on Duke. Well, how many of you saw my video, my most recent video? I did 2 shorts from it and I did long form. Duke being kind of a stud. I was surprised. And I'm not saying no dogs do what Duke does, no dogs do what Prince does. Those dogs exist out there in the world, but they're not on camera a lot. Duke came down, dog was barking in his face. And the thing that's hard to notice but is big is just Duke's lack of reacting in any way. And unlike Prince, he didn't go, I need to smell you. Like I'm going to get in there and kind of bull Prince is a bull. He is a physical beast and a specimen Prince is so strong that like he'll just, and he wants to smell everything. He'll be like, take your smelling dog, which can be good. It can be not good, but Prince was more respectful, and dog's barking at him and he's just like, you're not even there. And that is a powerful thing. Some dogs need corrections, obviously. Some dogs need to just not get a reaction. And there was a time and a place for that. And that's what Duke did. And it was amazing. You should go watch that video if you haven't. I like the conversation in here, but I can't tell where it's starting of talking about negative reinforcement and Skinner and stuff. But I don't want like dead air on here while I try to not look at the camera or look at here the whole time because it's not good for a live. Like I try to look at the camera, but then I don't see the comments. Link collar versus prong collar. Link collar, you mean like a choke chain? Here's why choke chains are bad. They precurse hitting the end of the leash. So they go, they're like lot of links. Like they go pop, 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 and then the dog hits the end. So guess what the dog does? Right as it goes, dut, 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 the dog goes, okay, and they start to buckle down. You don't want precursors to a correction or to them correcting themselves. You don't want that. Gentle leader is the best. Prongs are fine. I don't really use them, but I know why people do. I do get it. But I think gentle leaders are a little better. JDO, that's a long time commenter person, JDO. So I'm going to read, I think it's a woman. You need to do a video on the search function to find all the video. You need to do a video on the search function to find all the videos they'll ever need that you've already made that are fantastic. I need to do a video on that, a video on how to find videos. Not saying it's the worst idea. And there's too many. I have like 5, 6, 700 videos, 600, 500. I have a lot of videos and they're not all titled perfectly to be able to find them. I get it. It's not easy. I agree. There is a search function within YouTube and you can type in and it does a pretty good job of finding. If you want loose leash walking, it'll find my loose leash walking videos. Recall, it'll find them. Gentle leader will find them. Head harness, I mean. Why do I say that? I don't care what you use. Don't use a gentle leader. It's probably the best of the head harnesses, but as I've said 100 times, no thank you from the gentle leader people ever. I've sold 5,000 gentle leaders for them. Probably. What do you do, Beckman, with an older dog that's blind or half blind and is getting pretty bitey, aggressive with grooming? He needs a muzzle for nails, especially he's 8. He's my old dog. He's always had. I mean, bro, blind dogs. Blind dogs are generally very normal dogs. I've never had a deaf dog that doesn't have serious problems. Never. People bring me deaf dogs. They're always weird. Always. Now, you could argue there's deaf dogs. They just don't bring them to you, Joel. That's true. There's some about, but I've thought about it. Like being blind, you're kind of like, okay, I can't see. Being deaf, you're probably like, you probably don't know you're deaf if you're a dog, you know? And you're just like, the world is a very strange place. Whereas you're blind, the world's kind of obviously a very strange place. If you're deaf, you're like, you think you're normal as a dog, or you think you take, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. I switched to a gentle leader and my dog's reactivity went down 80%. That's what happens. No one wants to use it though. I used a gentle leader twice now with Duke. I won't get into it. I'm going to probably make a video on it. But I was like, I'm not going to use a gentle leader. I'm going to just do this. I'm Joel Beckman. Bro, Duke's out of his mind on walks. He's not out of his mind, but he's so stimulated. Put a gentle leader on. He's a completely different dog. It's amazing. Okay, Aaron Welch, and then we're done. 5-year-old intact male German Shepherd triggered by kids on bikes. Yep, it's tough. Bikes, ag barking. Okay, suggestions. Get some brave friends, kids and muzzle and desensitize. Yeah, you're on the right track, actually. I like your get some brave friends deal. You want to get your dog better with kids on bikes? You need kids on bikes. But you kind of need willing participants. And that's a problem in dog training, right? Leash reactivity. You can't tell the person walking by you, okay, stop right there. Okay, give me some distance. Okay, let me turn a bunch of time. It's not how it works. Same thing with kids on bikes. So yeah, you're going to need some brave friends. Desensitization. Triggered by kids on bikes. Get some brave. Muzzle's a great idea if you think they're going to get to the kids. I would say a gentle leader would also be a great idea just to help that. I mean, it sounds like it's probably on leash, so you're going to need some leash help, that gentle leader help. You do want some desensitization. You want a threshold, right? A threshold is defined as the point at which, it's really the distance at which an organism won't react 51% of the time. Doesn't mean they don't react. It means it's a distance at which they won't react a little less than they would a foot closer. Find that threshold and then possibly correct the behavior, possibly reinforce for being good, right? DRO, reinforce them from being good, then close that threshold. Now, you've got to keep the stimulus the same. So the kids can't start writing faster or screaming as you're closing the threshold. You got to do one thing at a time. But yeah, that's what you need. You're kind of on the right track. You're not missing anything. Well, you give a correction and then dog might get worse. Okay, got worse with the correction. I ain't doing that. Oh, he got 10% better after that correction. I'm on to something here. Light correction, small correction, right? Okay. Oh, um, start with the kids on the bike not moving. Bring them up to the bike. Maybe have the kids toss treats while they're not moving. Maybe have them toss treats while they're moving. Right? Treats from the scary stimulus. There's a lot going on with that situation, and there's a lot to do. But like everything, you try something, then you measure the percentage and decrease of the behavior, and then you double down or you discard. Treats from the scary stimulus, threshold, reinforcement, punishment. And you do that all in this mishmash of stuff. It's not easy stuff for normal people to do. All right, we are done. Thank you. We had good numbers today. That was nice. Thank you for the $1,000. I got so excited. That was crazy. It was like 74 cents. And I don't mean to harp on the person giving it. She gave money. That was nice. It was wonderful. And it's just my reaction is funny. Bye. Bye, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Someone gave $100. Did I already get them? Thanks. Bye, everybody. I'll try to do these more. Okay, bye.